Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Michael, also known as TMOC. I am a music producer and also an engineer at a DeFi protocol called Orca on Solana. And today we will be talking about music, NFTs, DAOs, and how they can change the artist and fan relationship. So first, I just want to give a really quick introduction on what music NFTs are. So music NFTs, similar to our JPEG NFTs that we all love, like Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Solana Monkey Business. You can also mint music on chain, and that means minting the album art and also the actual audio file, whether that's a WAV file or MP3 file, and other metadata on chain. And that has given birth to a lot of new different types of applications. And one example is artists now have a new revenue stream where they can directly sell and market their art to their audience without a middleman. Or there's different ways to distribute royalties. Or there's also interesting applications where streaming platforms are only listing music that are minted as music NFTs that can't be found on Spotify or other streaming platforms. So yeah, I'm joined by a group of talented people building in the space. We have artists, founders, and builders. So yeah, could all of you guys give an introduction to everyone?
Yeah, sure. My name is TK. I'm the founder of Fansi, which is the biggest music NFT. No, just kidding. It's a music NFT issuing platform, and also have another product line called MetaBoom, which is the Web3 music player / Web3 Spotify in a way, streaming service. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
My name is Pochang, and I have two projects ongoing. One is called OXO0x0, which is Metaverse music label. And the other is called Our Song, which is a music NFT platform. And it's the biggest, I'm kidding, here in Taiwan, yeah.
Hi, my name is Alix. I'm the co-founder of Everwave. We're a collaborative music production platform and meant to be managed by a DAO, so we're organized as a DAO. And we have a team that's based all around the world, and we hope to change the way music is being produced and distributed thanks to Web3 technology.
Hi, my name is Ivan. If you play video games before, if you play Final Fantasy, if you play Assassin's Creed, you probably have heard me playing the piano throughout the soundtrack. I was the music director of Assassin's Creed, developed by Ubisoft, coming from a gaming background. But now I run a company called Wave, which is a Web3 music platform. I pretty much just landed from New York yesterday, so a little bit jet lag. Since everyone has largest a little bit of Web3 here and there, Wave right now does have 3 million tracks in the pipeline, which also makes it the largest Web3 music platform in the world by content volume. So hope to chat with friends, artists, and founders here and certainly share some great music and stories with you guys. Thank you.
Cool, thank you everyone for the introduction. So I'd like to kick off the chat today with a narrative in Web3, which is that the medium that we consume music or that we enjoy music has been evolving over time, right? We've gone from vinyl records, we've gone to tape cassettes, CDs, MP3s, streaming, and now people are experimenting with music NFTs. So on one hand, that makes sense because with a new technology like blockchain, there will be new ways to change the music industry. But at the same time, a lot of people are a little bit confused about how music NFTs can actually fit into this space and how they can actually change the artist and fan relationship, right? So the first question I have for you guys is, what can Web3 do for the music industry that Web2 cannot? And why should people care about music NFTs and music DAOs? So yeah, you want to start us off, TK?
Yeah, sure. I think that for the most obvious reason that in the current Web2 structure, music doesn't really have too much value in terms of financially. So in the music industry, they said that you can pretty much sell everything except music itself. So right now, with all the centralized entity out there, the value of music is very, very minimal. So NFT, the most obvious reason that they get to sell the music as an asset or as a product for the very first time, after the paradigm shift of digitalization. But another thing I want to emphasize on is that Web3 create a lot of doors for emerging artists. And by doing things differently, especially put your music as a content on chain to embed it with a lot of protocols out there, especially Web3 service, that opens a lot of doors for the content or for the asset itself. So the music NFT, in my view, is not too much about music, actually. It's more about how do we emphasize on the ownership and include fans become one of your partners on your career.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, the way that people consume the music is changing a lot. And I know that Pochang, you've been experimenting in that space as well, right? So yeah, what do you think about how NFTs can change the relationship with artists and fans?
Yeah, as we founded our song back in 2018, we try to bring back the value of the song, because from vinyl to cassette to CD and to iTunes Music Store, we can see the keep dropping of the unit price of a song. So I think in the digital world, as an artist, as a musician, we still believe that content has value, its own value. So we try to do this digital vinyl at the beginning, and it's the music NFT. But we also see a lot of potential of music NFT. So it can be a remix permission. It's like a license of a song. And it can also be the ownership of a song as the fractional copyright, right? And another usage of this is we all know that most of the labels and artists, they want to build their community. And community is very important for the music business. So in the past, we can only listen to the community to see what it needs. But right now, we finally have a chance to let the community join our governance, to run the label or run the career of an artist together with us, with a share of common interest. So I think it has a lot of potential and a lot of possibility that we can explore. Yeah, that's what Web2 cannot do.
Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about how once you have NFT on chain, the artist just has a lot of flexibility in terms of what they can do with it. But at the same time, people are building platforms that serve the artist side, the creator side, and the consumer side too. So Alix, can you tell us a little bit about what you're building and how it falls into that category?
Yeah, of course. So in our case, we're not only trying to make like another NFT distribution platform or streaming platform. We're trying to get the artists to come to the platform and make music together in a playful and original way, and then kind of co-manage that music all together, because it's collaborative music production process. The music is created with many artists, and they get to manage that music together. And one thing that Web3 allow and kind of streamline the process is thanks to smart contracts, is that you don't need to get into painful agreements. When you do music collaboratively and you need to distribute the rights, it's a very painful process to know who's going to get what and to verify if each person got what they actually deserve. But with everything being on chain, we managed to kind of make this process transparent and streamline the whole thing. So for artists, we're kind of building trust right from the get-go. And this is something that's only allowed thanks to Web3 technology. So for us, it's a big improvement to kind of improve the current process of making music collaboratively.
Cool. Ivan, could you give us your thoughts on the topic too?
Yeah, I think some of the things that we need to make sure for the music industry and community going forward is that, so there are two primary things that we need to solve in music community, which is distribution and discovery. Distribution, we talked about that, is pretty much artists are not making a good fortune. The current infrastructure for music business is really unfriendly. They don't necessarily benefit music creators. They would sacrifice 85% of the revenue to the middlemen that have to experience, like distributors, publishers, royalties, promoters, managers, organizers, like everyone. And Web3 layer would be a great idea to actually starting to optimize the infrastructure by reshaping how music is being traveled after the mastering is done to be in front of our ears. And for the discovery, it's pretty much like, have you ever wondered, like when you turn on Spotify, it's always today's top hits, right? It's always today's top 50. You listen to Harry Styles all the time, you listen to Lady Gaga all the time. Think of this, would you ever watch Lord of the Rings 12 times per week? It's insane, right? You don't necessarily like watch the same thing over and over again, but actually our music consuming experience is like, no, we listen to the same songs over and over again. So all of this creates a lot of opportunities for us to really move forward. And in terms of like music NFT and Web3, Web2, right now, so I was in Miami last week attending Decentral, Miami Web3, and also Art Basel. It seems right now a lot of topics are being discussed would be what is the bridge between Web2 and Web3? And I think for all of us as a founders or as an artist, it's important to know how we'll be able to engage music crowd, music producers, artists, to really listen to them and to see what they need. Because in terms of Web3, it's been sounding like it's a buzzword, like, hey, we've got this cool stuff, we've got this collection, you can come in and do your own stuff. But the thing is that the music community is really confused. They don't know what's going on. We do have like Timbaland coming in, we do have Katy Perry coming in, but what's next? So I think if we'll be able to, so I think the key would be user interface and user experience. You need to create something that's really easy to use, really to have music artists to access to the platform, to have them focus on what they're really good at, which is writing and producing great music.
Yeah.
Then the rest is the community that we'll be able to build together.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually brings up, leads me into my next question, which is, we're talking about a lot about how like Web3, enables all these new interactions. But I'm curious, like, as builders of all your platforms, what are some interesting Web3 mechanics that you've integrated into your platforms, and how does that engage the audience? Because you still have to bootstrap the platform with people that actually want to create like art and music on your platform before the listeners have anything to listen to, right? So, anyone want to jump in and take that question?
Yeah, sure. I'll start.
Sure.
So I come from a DeFi background. I spent a lot of time in the DeFi world, and there was something that a mechanism that sparked a big DeFi boom that was called liquidity mining, and I got very inspired by that to build something related to creative process, and we called it creativity mining. And the way it works is that on the platform, because we're a platform first and foremost for creators, we kind of do token airdrops to people who come to the platform and make music on the platform. So it's a way for us to make sure that eventually the value that is being created on the platform is being owned and managed by the first people who actually create that value. And that's, I think, something very important for us. We always keep in mind what value do we provide as a platform, and who creates it, and who should own it. Because I think at the end of the day, Web3 is about ownership, self-ownership, self-custody, and being able to take back control over what you create and the value you create. And that's why we came up with that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Did you guys have something that you wanted to add?
Yeah, maybe just quick. So our platform is more like a launchpad service, meaning that it's not an open platform. We can just upload files. We do a lot of hand holding with the artist. So one special case that I can probably mention is so we work with Zhang Yusen, not personally, with his family. So Zhang Yusen has some unreleased tracks that have been found last year. So that music is perfect for NFT because it's not it's by nature it's not a Spotify ready type of content, right? You can't really just put on streaming platform, OKBox, right? So the traditional way that the record label do would be buy out the copyright and then put on and have other artists to sing the songs. But then it's very different from what the art is. It's a collectible. It's very valuable. So we do a lot of interesting stuff like NFT album. That's one thing. You can issue that as an album in Web3 album. Another thing is that once you purchase maybe 3 songs, you get to free me the 4th or 5th songs, something like that. So there's a lot of different type of mechanism that we can do that is not not provided by other platforms.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I'm a musician and I'm a singer songwriter in a rock band for more than 20 years, and I'm also doing music platform for almost 20 years, and because I keep serving people. And I try to make something my own. So I built up this Metaverse label with my musician friends. And the reason is we love the culture of co-creation and the concept of open IP licensing. So when I see a project called I'm a DJ, it's a 3D avatar project, NFT project. And I say, hey, maybe I can buy some of this NFT and make them my avatar in the Metaverse as a band. So I bought 3 of them, and we also got a Bored Ape, and I think it's suitable for being the hip hop thinner. So we started this label, and I think the concept of Web3 is unlimited, and that's also the reason we started this community label. So we try to make our community also a co-owner of our label, and we run it together. And for our song, we have this tokenomics, and the tokenomics not launched yet, but our idea is to create this contribute and earn mechanism, because if tokenomics want to be scalable, sustainable, we think the users need to make contribution, then they can get rewards. Not you just doing some useless actions or like activity, then you mine the token, then you dump it. Mm-hmm. This is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it later.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to add to it because, for the music world, the most important component in this business is really about relationship and trust. If you want to get musicians work with you, there's a reason why there's a manager there assisting artists and creators. So I was in Menlo Park last Tuesday producing a concert by Bittersweet. They were nominated to Grammy Awards a few years ago. And when you talk to artists, you sense this insecurity, confidence, needs of love in them. It's a typical character of musical artists. If you're talking about engaging and onboarding artists onto a new platform, trust and relationship would be some of the key components to go forward. When I created Wave, which is the Web3 music platform, the thing is that I used kind of a different strategy to kick off. I work with a lot of record labels, pretty much like how Netflix was going through during the early stage, that we work with film distributors, pretty much like licensing content onto the platform. But the thing is that in order to increase the credibility, you need to have this content pool out there, and for musicians to really trust you and come into the platform to really start using it. And when you talk to them, I talked to thousands of musicians this year. More than 97% of them, they would say, yes, we want to do it. We want it to be Web3, but how to do it, where to do it, who can I work with, how can we work on this together? So I do think the infrastructure and the platform is ready for them, easy to access platform. It will be a lot easier for the music community to really be on board on the platform.
Yeah. So that actually brings me again to my next question, actually, which is there's been a lot of talk about how there's a lot of artists that are in Web3 using new Web3 platforms. So you're trying to onboard a lot of people to create on your platform, but at the same time, there are a lot of really famous musicians today. Like Drake, Taylor Swift So my question for you, this is a true or false question, and on the count of 3, if you think it's true, put your thumbs up. If you think it's false, thumbs down. So the question is, Web3 music will only reach mainstream adoption if a big artist like Drake is able to integrate music NFTs. So thumbs down if you think it's going to be someone who's currently very famous and like established, or thumbs down if you think it's going to be like some, some person that comes out of nowhere, like a SoundCloud rapper that just blows up, right? But except it would be on a music NFT platform. So thumbs up
3?
for big, yeah. Thumbs down for crypto native, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have a little disagreement here, right? Yeah, so.
Oh, the gentleman with the cap that goes.
Yeah, so I guess let's have Ivan start off. Give us, like a quick opinion on why you think it would be thumbs up. And then we'll break into open discussion. Yeah.
Am I the only one doing thumbs up?
Yeah, you're the only one that did thumbs up, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe keep it to like 40 seconds, and then we can get everyone to discuss a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you mentioned SoundCloud. It's a great example, right? You look at Bandcamp, right? Look at smaller platform focusing a lot on independent artists. We love independent artists, but in the meantime, we need to know where the market is leading. So like 3 days ago, I was in New York. I was meeting Gargamel from Yuga Labs, the founder of Yuga Labs. We're talking about like, okay, so how can we really drive the community? Like we can work with 300 independent artists, or we can spend the budget on one really big artist to come to the concert, to join the community. And I think we all go to live concerts and we all see like how influential like Shawn Mendes, like Billie Eilish should be able to drive the crowd. And well, I have right to say this because I'm coming from classical music. Classical music field is like dying. You go to concert hall to fall asleep, unfortunately. So I do think if something that's like more connected to the mainstream pop culture, and also you create discussions and topics. So I think this could be the great. I was sort of debating between like thumbs up and down. I was trying to be like that, but I don't want to create some kind of bias. Okay. But that's my personal take.
Okay.
Let me try to persuade Ivan.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm an indie artist for so many years, and from maybe 20 years ago, we keep talking about indie is the new major, and as I remember, my first purchase of Taylor Swift's music was on a platform called eMusic. And by the time, she's still an indie country singer. And right now, she's a superstar. So I believe our generation and the next generation, all the big stars will come from indie. Yeah. So is the evolving of the technology. So I believe that for Web3, there must be a kid out of from nowhere, but maybe he or she is a crypto native, and he bring a lot of audience into the new space. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I put thumb down is double. First is we already have major artists who went into the NFT space, and it didn't change the game per se. So that's already one proof that this is not enough. Second thing is, I think the narrative behind how NFT and blockchain are powerful are that they are life-changing for artists. But for big artists, it's always going to be a byproduct. It's always going to be like a small part of their revenue. It's never going to be the major thing. So for them, they're never going to prioritize it because it's like a small merchandising or something like that. It's not their main thing. But if you're an indie artist, and like releasing an NFT is actually a substantial way to first connect with your audience and second, make sustainable revenue, then that's a very powerful narrative to spread through media and through audience. And then people can understand that. But if they just see major artists doing NFTs and it kind of looks like a money grab, then it just feeds into the narrative of NFT being very shallow and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I think my favorite analogy would be YouTube, right? So YouTube create a lot of YouTubers. like Taiaga, Hao, right? And none of those are in traditional entertainment companies or coming up from that professional background of TV industry. So, but I do agree with Ivan that the big artist definitely comes with a lot of traffic. And from platform perspective, we love to have that kind of traffic. So it's very hard for platform players to find the balance to take care of indies, but also we need traffic, especially from big artists to acquire users that in turns can purchase music NFTs from those indies artists. So it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's chicken egg problem, but there's a balance that there we have to strike that balance to make the platform grow.
What is your answer, Michael? Because
I was actually just about to add my thoughts to that. So I think I agree with one point that Alex said that really resonated with me, that NFTs can also sound kind of like a dirty word now, especially if artists don't do it well, it kind of taints their brand. So I think that if a big artist is able to actually understand the ethos of Web3 and what it actually means to build a proper community instead of just jumping into the latest hype, I think it could have a big impact. But it's just kind of hard to see big artists being incentivized to do that. And at the same time, a lot of big artists, ironically, are kind of tied down by the current record label deals that they have. So similar to how when Bitcoin and Ethereum, a lot of hedge funds and traditional finance firms, they couldn't just start investing in these because of regulations. A lot of big artists can't actually experiment in the Web3 music space freely because of these same deals that they have.
Yeah, let me add on one thing, because John Legend is our co-founder of our song. So we keep telling them that don't release his NFT on our song. We rather he can be our ambassador and bring more young artists and young creators into our ecosystem. So we still believe that the next generation of indie artists will be the manpower of the driving force of this new technology. Yeah.
So I guess let's do another true or false question, similar to the other one. So on the count of three, but first I'll ask the question and then I'll count to three, right? So true or false, decentralized Web3 music platforms and DAOs will replace the current Web2 music streaming applications completely over time. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got a middle, 1 down and 2 up. Is that middle as well, or is that down? That's down? Yeah.
75.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, Alex, why don't you kick us off with your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that if you look at the value proposition of NFT, it's fundamentally better than the way the value is being distributed right now in the platforms. So the question is, if you're going to build a new streaming platform or a new way to make music or whatever, why would you use old ways of doing it versus using NFTs and Web3 technology? At some point, the question's going to come and people are going to be held accountable of why didn't you use NFT? Why didn't you use Web3 technologies? And I think it's going to be more and more pressing for people to actually use those technologies. So I think it's going to take time, because right now the amount of music that is on-chain is very, very small. But over time, if you ask me, the music that is available online, will it be based on Web3 technology versus Web2 technology? I think eventually it will be based on Web3 technology. But it doesn't mean that because it's Web3, it's going to be just fundamentally better as a user experience. So we need people to build platforms that have, one, a good user experience, and two, using Web3 technology.
Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm the only one thumb down, right? Because I think that the system of the current music industry, maybe for less than 100 years, I think. A copyright system about 100 or 200 years. This old system is unbreakable. And the only way to do the revolution is build up a new world. So I think the new world of Web3 will coexist with the old system for a long time. But of course, eventually we'll get into there. will land in the promised land. But if you are familiar with the music industry, you will know all the copyright system, all the pain points we want to solve with blockchain technology is impossible. You know why? Because all the copyright system is fully centralized. So you try to use a decentralized system to solve a centralized system problem is stupid. But we can use this new decentralized system to build up a brand new copyright system and brand new licensing system and all the application on top of it. And that's what we dreamed of. That's why I have thumbs down. Yeah.
Yeah, but TMOC's question is given time, right? It's not within 2 to 3 years. So given 100 years, then all the copyrights become free, and then everybody use.
By the time it's already Web 12 or 15.
No, but from my experience, so all the artists that we work with are very happy with all the NFTs because the most frequent feedback that we have when we work with artists is that the 2 to 3 days drop with us or 1 week drop with us equals more than 2 years of income from Spotify or any other streaming platform. 2 to 3 days, and then on the other hand, it's 2 years. So. It's just a matter of time when people are feel more comfortable to utilize new technology to issue their music. So in my view, it is kind of like no-brainer that a lot of artists would choose NFT to issue their music because issuing music from on Chen doesn't mean that it's only the holders can listen to the music. No, actually, everyone can listen to the music. It's about ownership. It's not about accessibility of the music. So still, everybody can listen to your music, but you get extra revenue and you get extra community. You get to design a lot of things around that ownership, and that's the beauty of Web3. So people follow content, not platform. So even though we're doing platform, we don't think platform is going to dominate all the users or contents like what Spotify is trying to do. We are just one part of the whole ecosystem. It's open content. Everybody can access the content and access the data. So when majority of the content goes on Chen, people goes on Chen to consume this content or to utilize all the different applications. So we think that is going to have a huge impact to the existing current Web2 structure.
Ivan, give us your middle.
Right, I want to add to that. 75 is because, first of all, I agreed all with my fellow panelists. I do think Web3 can be there if we do it right. Music projects, we underestimated it. We thought we listened to music. We thought we eat music, then it's easy for us to start a music company and to do something. But the thing is that, for the music world, it really is about the economy where it's related to the artists, it's related to the managers, related to the current system, and also all of us who consume music. But one fact that we know is that for Apple Music and Spotify, artists are not happy. And there's a problem because if the content creators, the research the content, if they're not happy, then that means it creates opportunities for us founders to do something that's different from where the problems are. I mean, look at TikTok. Right now, you pick up your smartphone, you do some short video, and you upload, and when you do it right, when you are going through these things, there's a chance that it will be able to get 1 million followers in no time. But the thing is that for music, I also agree with Pochang, this is a really hard and almost impossible to change the current infrastructure for copyright. But I think that's the road of us as a founder, that we have to be disruptive. If we really want to change something, we need to challenge this industry, and we really need to put artists first. We need to solve hard problems going forward. And I'm speaking this as an artist as well, because when I signed the contract with Square Enix working on Final Fantasy, I didn't receive a dime from the production. And I was naive because I thought it was a great opportunity for us to work on such a AAA video game original soundtrack. I should treasure that. Friends, they would be interviewed by CNBC going on the TV show, and they would sign a contract for like 10 years. They have to sell everything, their IP, their creativity to a firm like NBC. So do you think artists are happy? No. So I think this is the romantic side in me that I also wanted to do something that seems a little impossible. But isn't it a wonderful idea and a wonderful thing to make this music world a better place? So I do think we need to work really hard to get this moving forward.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to change it. We need to build a new one. You know what I mean? Yeah, because if you want to change it, you have to become a lawmaker. But as a technologist, as a platform builder, we can have another way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, you cannot change already existing contracts. So to go back to your point, yeah, that's something you cannot do. So you have to build something new.
Yeah, just kind of echo to that. I think this is a great setup. Like Pochang and Alix are doing DAO with the tokenomics for the music creations. Ivan and I are doing this DAO with the tokenomics with the music streaming. So they have this kind of creative mining, create to earn, right? And we have the listen to earn. You have the whatever to earn. So this is something that, again, kind of goes back to the first question. This is something that the Web 2 cannot do at all. And Web 3 has to come up with a new approach to the music industry. It's not just putting music on chain. That means nothing. If you only do that, that's that's somebody else. But it has to come with all the new approach to be more inclusive to fans and also other players in the ecosystem. So I think that's the beauty of Web3, and that's how four of us are trying to do differently, not just tackle the existing structure.
Okay, cool. So we're actually doing pretty well on time. So I guess we'll go off script a little bit, and I'll ask some questions that I have in mind. So one thing, as I'm also a music producer, shill myself a little bit. I'm thinking about, minting my first music NFT, right? But I'm a little confused as to like as an artist and someone deep in crypto, sometimes I'm like, what can I do with a music NFT, right? So after I've done my research, from what I've gathered, the best thing it's a way for the artist to it's like a direct revenue stream. And at the same time, it's a way for super fans to engage with the artist directly, and you can build a relationship. So if I like someone's music on some music platform, because the space is so new, I can actually buy his NFT and he'll start DMing with me and we can become friends. So from my understanding, that's the current value of music NFTs, right? And there's a lot of potential, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on what else can you do with the music NFT? What's the point of me minting a music NFT other than those things that I just said?
I have an interesting anecdote that relates to my personal experience about that. I'm a record collector, so I've been buying a lot of vinyl records over the years, and sometimes I buy expensive records. I mean, expensive, it's all relative, but $500 or even $1,000, something like that. And every time I buy the record, I'm like, okay, that's cool, 500 or whatever, but there is exactly 0 cents that goes back to the artist when I spend $500 or $1,000. And the reason why I'm spending this money is because I love the artist and because the art on the record is great. However, there is no money that goes back to that person. And with NFT, it kind of breaks this cycle. So what NFT creates is a market of digital collectible for music that can have a resale value. And that never existed before. Because before, when you were buying digital music online, because now we're not even buying music anymore, and that's the reason why, because over time, you cannot resell what you buy. It doesn't have any collectible value. But with music NFT, over time, if he was talking about the super major art, Taylor Swift. If you bought a Taylor Swift NFT when she was just a random indie artist, and now people are looking for that asset as a collectible, then it gains value and everybody's happy. You know what I mean? So I think this is a very, very powerful narrative for NFT to strive.
I think that's a very good question that we also encounter that kind of question a lot. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of utility around music NFTs, because the utility comes with a lot of effort from the artist itself, and artists tend to focus on making music.
And a lot of rug pulls from that.
Exactly right. Are you talking about Zhou Jie?
No.
No, okay. I love Zhou Jie. Their projects were wonderful. So what's okay? So that's why we do MetaBoom. So MetaBoom is a project that we embedded listen to earn. We try to make sure that all the music and NFT that you purchase, regardless from our platform or also or any platforms out there, as long as it's NFT, it can generate passive income for you. And the reason doing that is because the artist only cares about two things. They want to sell out their NFT, and they want their music to be heard by a wider audience, right? So they want the holders to help share and push that music out. So we designed the whole tokenomics around that very simple concept. If you purchase music NFT from the artist you support and you share that music, you get rewarded. And that in turn adding more value, a layer of financial incentive to the music NFTs that you own. So that's, you don't have to depend on the social interaction between the artist and you. You don't have to, worry about whether the artist is going to do the rock pour or just run away. You are safe and you have the value for your music NFTs.
Yeah. One interesting thought that just popped into my mind is there's a narrative that, like, if you ever found a band that you really like and discovered them early and shared them to all your friends, you're kind of like an ambassador for their band because you love their music so much. But one narrative in Web3 is like, oh, but if they have some like on-chain assets, like you could actually benefit from your advocacy and just being a super fan, right? So that kind of ties the incentive of the fan to be even more of a super fan in a way too. So yeah.
I actually wanted to add to that because in terms of the music NFT, remove the music. In terms of NFT, like last year, it's a lot of like, hey, I collect these pieces of NFT. I'm the owner. I'm in this club. There's this community, and we're like a family. It's going great, but it's also going weird as well. In terms of the utility, I wanted to add to what Tika was saying. If utility can actually be added to be part of proof of work towards artists, then you will be able to see something that's different. When you talk to musicians, like a lot of times they would say, I don't have budget to go into recording studio. I don't have a budget to hire a producer. I have a very limited budget to write a new song. Even though right now it's not an excuse because Billie Eilish won like 5 Grammy Awards by producing songs in her bedroom, right? But the thing is that in terms of like budgeting and financial distribution for artists, if like users or their collectors will be able to purchase their future copyright by subscribing to their tokens, there might be another way to look into where tokens can be seen as a sponsored token, where they can actually have this payment up front. It's like startup, right? You created a startup and you give out 15% of the equity. It's like you're writing a new song, you give 15% of the copyright to your investors. But those investors are your backers. They wanted to see you successful. They love your music. They're your fan. They're in your clubhouse. So I do think in terms of the utility for the user side, for consumer side, might look a little different for that way.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, we're about to run out of time, so I wanted to give all of you guys, if you want to say anything to everyone about your project, about what you're working on, and we can wrap this up in the last minute. So yeah, why don't you get us started, TK?
Yeah, I know new technology is scary, especially for creators. But once you try it, you'll know that it's nothing to worry about. It's a new thing, and just do it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the utility, I agree with TK that we can overemphasize on the utility of the music NFT, because when we buy the vinyl, we won't say, hey, what's the utility of this vinyl? Yeah. No, we don't. So I think that the part that we need to build up or we need to work on is the experience of the music NFT.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alix?
Well, to circle back on that utility thing, I read something on Twitter where basically they were saying music is the utility, and I think that very sums up my thought on the matter.
I like this. No one wants to show their project. They just want to debate on the utility of music NFTs.
We're looking for artists, so please introduce artists to us, please. We want them to join us.
Awesome, yeah. Cool. Well, that wraps up our chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
yeah.